Hello, Aquarius. Thank you for joining us. Mercury opposes Saturn on the 3rd, and on the 25th, Venus is square Uranus. Now, one of your rulers, Saturn, is currently transiting retrograde through Sagittarius. And one of your other rulers, Uranus, is currently traveling direct through Aries. Now, what's that going to do? That's going to cause people to have kind of curt or terse, blunt interactions with people. Now, let's see how your ruling planets of Saturn and Uranus affect you this month, Aquarius. I'm Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel. Thank you for joining us. This is an angelic horoscope transmission from your Aquarius angel, Cambriel, who resides over your fixed air nature, and these are his messages for you in love, money, and health. First, the priority, the love transmission from Cambriel. Your guardian angel is Raphael. He's the guardian angel over the 3 air signs. And your specific teaching angel is Cambriel. So it's like you have the general focus of air, the air angel, the guardian Raphael, and it's focused to a more refined point for you, Aquarius, through Cambriel to teach and help. Now, some of these aspects. Again, because Saturn is retrograde in Sagittarius, that's going to cause perception of old-fashioned mores to be sort of just not necessarily in fashion or stylish, but some of that too. But also just you're going to perceive that things are going backwards, that laws you thought you had fixed once to make them more modern have gone back to an older form. That's going to be the perception that Saturn, currently transiting retrograde in Sagittarius, the perception that that's going to give you. Now, your divine tone is, I know. So you feel that you know certain things about this, but that particular aspect you might not be sure. But just remember, Saturn is in transiting through Sagittarius, and that's I perceive. So it might not all be quite so black and white as you think. Okay? All right. Now, on the 3rd, we have a full moon in Scorpio. And that's going to cause Aquarius, the water bearer, to be, and just because you're a water bearer doesn't mean that you're a water sign, you're an air sign. Okay. It's going to cause the water bearer to be, to want to be more artistic, if you will. To sort of a yearning, a craving, a longing to express this Scorpio divine tone of I create. You're going to want to have more of that expression because you have a lot of creativity. You're just going to have a longing and a yearning to express it, the artistic side of yourself. And that's a very good thing. You can utilize that to form or make or manufacture or create gifts for Mom for Mother's Day on the 10th. She would really like that. If you make something special just for her. You don't have to spend large amounts of money if you can just make her something that matters. Oh, and just a heads up, there's a Mercury opposing Saturn on the 3rd, as well as this full moon in Scorpio. So that means that the intelligence of the mind will assist the creative urge in Scorpio to sort of free up some of these harsh laws that everybody has about what you can do legally versus artistically are going to be freed up. Not a lot, but just a bit. Just that what the mind can imagine. If we can't express it, in one way, we'll express it in a more artistic way. And then some people, go so far as to say that doing things that are actually illegal is performance art. Well, that's not true. It's just, it might be true, but it's still not going to be allowed. So just understand that if people want to do things that are hurtful to other people or just basically illegal or criminal behavior, that's not going to fly. Painting a picture, creating a movie, writing a song, a poem, a story, that's one thing. But actually doing it in the 3D physical world as a performance art, that's going to, that's not going to fly because the laws are very strict against that. So just have a heads up on that. That's very important because of this Mercury opposing Saturn on the 3rd. Again, the same day, we have a full moon in Scorpio. So just be aware of that. Now, on the 10th, Venus is in conjunct Saturn. And with Venus in conjunct Saturn, that's not conjunct, that's in conjunct. That's a challenging aspect, not a friendly or assistive aspect. With this Venus in conjunct Saturn on the same day as Mother's Day, don't forget Mother's Day, at this time, you have sort of the general societal trendy mores of the Venusian energies coming against the Divine Mother, which is Saturn, or the Sephira of Binah, challenging this sort of Sephira of to reveal and conceal. And to reveal and conceal that, that's the very definition of the book of Revelations, because you have the revelation or the concealment of the Creator, and that is the book of Revelation. That word apocalypse is just revelation in Greek. It's to reveal the Creator, because the Creator kind of plays hide and seek with all of us, kind of peekaboo with all of us. And we run because when we get what we want, we might get too anxious. So that's what all this is about. You don't need the law of attraction. It's silly, because everything attracts automatically because we're all one. So the way we maintain our individuality is by our specific defense mechanisms and our specific law of repulsion. We repel here, we repel here, we repel here. And that's how we define ourselves. Because if you just stop repelling and just let everything come to you and say yes all the time, you can have whatever you want. But because of fear, we put up these defense mechanisms, and we don't even know we're doing it. We all do it. It's how we establish our individuality. Just understand that. That's from the Zohar. All right, now, on the 17th, we have a new moon in Taurus. And this new moon in Taurus is going to sort of put a damper on people who tend to throw money at problems in their romantic life or their friendship life or their familial life, and sort of like if their kid has a problem, they throw money at it. And when you have money, it's easy to do that, and it's just an easy way to handle things. But because of this aspect, this kind of diminutive aspect over Taurus, the 17th and this new moon, it's going to cause people to build relationships through actions. It doesn't mean you can't do barter and trade with each other, but it just means substantial relationships will be built rather than just, I'm just throwing money at it or just buying friends. But true building of true relationships. And that'll be true between persons and between nations and peoples and tribes. That'll be true. Building real substantial relationships. That always works. It works much better than throwing money, because you just spoil people when you throw money at them, and then they don't respect you, and then they just hate your guts. That's not going to go over well. So it's better to build substantial relationships. Okay. Also, just a heads up too, Mars opposes Saturn on the 15th, and that could cause people to want to use aggression and do things that are illegal. So don't do that. And understand that other people may have an urge to do that on the 15th. And again, if you don't think things are happening on exact days, that's because when the angel strikes it, for that to happen with these aspects, then if you can take the full amount of light, it'll happen right at that time. If you cannot take the full amount of light, you'll dodge it a little bit, and it'll happen in a spherical 3D dimensional around you regarding time, because time's in many directions like a sphere in this dimension, and in other dimensions it even has more bizarre shapes. So just understand, it's like a trumpet, you know. So just understand that it'll happen right when you want it to if you allow all the light. But you have to be able to take all the light. All right? And if you can't, you'll dodge just enough, and that's how much delay there will be in your perception of time of events occurring. So again, on the 15th, it's a little bit of a harsh energy, so you don't want to get into problems with people or aggravate people. Yes, it's strong to keep being so strong and do what you want to do as long as it's legal, but at one point, just aggravating people is not going to, there's a time and place for everything. Time to throw stones, time to gather stones according to the good book. So what you want to do is, right now, it's the time to just kind of leave things alone, because we don't want too much anger. We want to diffuse a little bit. Okay, your emotional relationships. On the 23rd, Sun opposes Saturn. That also could be that kind of energy. That's on May 23rd. Okay, going into Cambriel's money transmission for you, Aquarius, we have Saturn retrograde in Sagittarius. Again, this aspect, this retrograde aspect in Sagittarius will give you the perception that old medieval laws are being reestablished. Not that they were ever really done away with in the first place, but, you know, there's a lot of laws in the books. All they have to do is be enforced, right? So there's a perception that those laws are coming back into place. Don't get all in a tizzy about it, because there's always ways to deal with things. On the 10th, on Mother's Day, and also with this Venus in conjunct Saturn aspect that we talked about, with this sort of people coming against the Divine Mother or against the Sephira of Binah, we have people who are trying to sort of squeeze all the blood out of the turnips in Mother's garden. Take as much as they can out of Mom and squeeze it all out of Mom. That's what's going on. Whatever maternal side of the family, whatever Mom figure, whatever great Divine Mother, the Divine Mother in, you know, the Shekinah, Mother Mary, you know, all these different aspects, Demeter, all these different names for the Divine Mother. The Divine Father has a lot of names, you know, so does the Divine Mother, like Alat. So we're just saying, don't try to take so much from her, because there's some other planetary facets that are helping her out. And she's not stupid, and she won't take well to this kind of behavior. So, you know, show some respect to Mom and give back, and you'll do very well. Okay. On the health issues for Cambriel's health transmission for you, Aquarius, this third Mercury opposing Saturn, that could cause some digestive or lung problems. It could cause digestive upset, dyspepsia, you know, again, lung problems. So you want to make sure that you don't overdo, because when you're starting to feel that you're getting a flu or cold or some kind of, you know, congestion in the lungs or any of that kind of thing, or an upset stomach, you're going beyond what your body can handle. So don't burn the candle at both ends. It's a bit of an intense month. It's just not a good month to really push. This is the theme, it appears, this month from Cambriel, that we keep having the same sort of transmission coming through, is this is not a month to push everything to a point where it's just going to get, you know, too explosive. You don't want things to go too far. You want to diffuse. I know it's very exciting to have things, you know, explode and go crazy, but it's really, it's fun as long as you're watching it happen to somebody else. But it's happening to you, it's not so fun now, is it? So we're all one, and what happens to one happens to another. So let's find productive, healthy, constructive ways to have excitement, and let's diffuse some of these situations. And that will be beneficial in the romantic relationships in the familial relationships and friendships. It'll be helpful in business. It'll be helpful in economics. It'll be helpful in your health. So we want to keep these things in a more diffused manner. Don't burn the candle at both ends. You don't want to be working so hard and playing so hard that you just can't do anything right, and you end up just being someone that, just pops off whenever. And we're all guilty of that sometimes, but so this is a caveat that there's times when that will be able to be dealt with and times when it won't. So don't do that this month. Bad idea, seriously. All right. This current retrograde Saturn transiting retrograde in Sagittarius, you're going to maybe have to revisit some things you might have thought in health that you had already, and even in economics, some things you thought you had already overcome. You may have to revisit those. But again, it's more of a perception than an actual reality. You might feel like you're taking one step forward and 100 steps back. You need to take responsibility. And you really need, again, I've said it before, I'll say it again, you really need to get the book Heal Your Body by Louise Hay, published by Hay House. You need to get that book. Implement that book. It does heal. Now, it takes a long time to have the emotions and the thought processes to construct a disease. It takes a little bit of time to deconstruct those same emotions and thought processes by owning the responsibility of what may be causing it. It just takes some time. Okay? All right, now, to go over some of the, and again, there's, just a caveat, of course, we want you to check with your licensed homeopathic physician or your licensed acupuncturist, chiropractor, or naturopathic physician. They're great with these kinds of things. It's a good month to get into aloe vera that you can ingest. You can just eat it, or you can go to the store and you can buy aloe vera drink. It's very good. And if you're having problems with, you feel like you're having swelling, or sort of, you can use ginger. It's good for that. Okay, kind of anti-inflammatory. Ginger is good for that to mix with the aloe vera. Again, check with your homeopathic, naturopathic physicians, your licensed acupuncturists. They have their own herbs, I'm sure. They're wonderful. And Chinese chiropractors who are taught in the old school can heal just about anything. It's miraculous. There's not many of them left anymore, and hopefully there's a new bunch of them coming out because, the new ways of doing things aren't as good as the ancient Chinese chiropractor ways of doing things. Seriously. Okay. Now, if you're Afterglow Aquarius, some of the highlights of the planetary aspects this month, again, currently we have Saturn retrograde in Sagittarius. On May 3rd, we have Mercury opposing Saturn. On May 10th, we have Venus in conjunct Saturn. On the 15th of May, we have Mars opposing Saturn. On May 23rd, Sun opposes Saturn. Be a little nicer to Mom because she's going to remember what you do and she's not stupid. All right? All right. Uranus, the aspects for that, Uranus is transiting currently through Aries. It's direct, but it's transiting through Aries. And that's all fine, but it could make people's philosophy a bit martial or a little overly cruel, if you will. And remember, anything you go to war with comes right back at you, and it comes back stronger. Remember that. Anything you go to war with, you just encourage it, and there's just more of it, no matter what you're at war with. So if you go to war with yourself, you'll get stronger. Okay. May 25th, Venus square Uranus. And Venus square Uranus will be a little bit of like the green movement and that trend to go and it's sort of a friendly, if not friendly, at least a disciplined debate with the philosophies of Aquarius. And remember, what you would actually do and what you think would be nice are always two different things. Or if it's happening to someone in your family or you, remember, treat others the way you'd like to be treated. And that's not the whole ball of wax, but that's a good way to start. All right. Thank you for joining us, Aquarius. I'm Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel, and join us again next month.